Hello students, this is Mrs. Nitty again with another video, this time on prepositions. So prepositions, if you ask me and if you get to know me well enough this year, you're going to find out that prepositional phrases are probably the most important thing in grammar that will help you understand really the rest of the words in a sentence. So to start out, if we take a sentence like this, and this is a fairly complicated sentence, and if you are to pick out the subject and the verb for this sentence, well, for some of us that's going to be a little hard because there's just too many words. But if we take this and we get rid of the prepositional phrases in the sentence, so I'm just going to go through here, and because I know prepositional phrases really well, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to cross these prepositional phrases out. So over the river, that is a prepositional phrase. Through the woods, and we're just going to ignore and for now. Through the woods is another prepositional phrase. To grandmother's house, okay, and then we go. So once I cross out all of the prepositional phrases in the sentence, over the river, through the woods, to grandmother's house, what we have left is a very simple sentence, we go. And it's very easy then to pick out the subject, which is a pronoun, and the verb in this particular sentence. So we go is the subject and verb of this sentence. So how do you identify a prepositional phrase? I mean, yeah, this looks all well and good and really easy. However, how do we know what a prepositional phrase is? Well, a prepositional phrase has a very particular construction. It starts with a preposition, and there are about 50 or so common prepositions, and I'm going to put a document on in our announcements that is a list of the 50 prepositions, or I don't know if they're 50, but common prepositions that we know that will help you with picking out prepositional phrases. So you want to start out with picking out the preposition, then there will be any optional modifiers, and then it ends with a noun or pronoun. So if we take a look at an example here, and we'll use our original sentence here, starts with a preposition. So over is a preposition. Through is a preposition. To is a preposition. Then it has optional modifiers. And of course, when you say optional, it means like sometimes it has modifiers, sometimes it doesn't. The is a modifier. The again. Grandmother's is a modifier as well. And then ends with a noun or pronoun. So river, woods, house. And the term that we use for the noun in the prepositional phrase is object of the preposition. And this is going to become very important. So, here's the preposition, it's the object of the preposition. And this is going to become very important as we go on to talk more in depth about pronouns and subjective and objective pronouns. So this is the construction of a prepositional phrase. Well, prepositions, I've never really seen a really good definition of prepositions, but this is about as close as it comes. Preposition connects groups of words to show relationships among ideas. And those relationships can be location, in the kitchen, at grandma's house, or time, at 3 p.m., before bedtime, on my birthday, or direction, from the north toward the south. And most of the prepositions that you will find and run across really have to do with location, location, location. Well, what do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look here. We have an alien on the stove. so it shows location on the stove. Then we have a troll behind the stove. Then we have a troll in front of the fridge, or a ghost behind the lamp. So all of these show location, and that's what you will find most of the time, that prepositions indicate location. So most prepositions are difficult to define: of, in, off, by, through, between, but most of the time, again, location. So the elf is behind the ball, so behind is a preposition. The elf is in front of the ball. The elf is above the ball. The elf is under the table. The elf is next to the drum. The elf is on the drum. The elf is between the flowers. The elf is in the box. The elf is near the chair. And what you're going to find really is a preposition is anywhere an elf can go. Here are some examples of prepositional phrases using common prepositions: in the beginning, before the fall, after the brutal fight. Here's a prepositional phrase that only has a preposition and a noun: at school, down the aisle, across the street, inside your ear, outside the house, between two girls, by chewing, behind the scenes. Here's one that has two modifiers: on the wooden table, by the sea, under the couch, around the bend, in the sand trap, or down in the sand trap. So here we have a few more modifiers here: into the dark woods, against the wind, near the mouse, through the tunnel, to school, like Larry's uncle, except my friend, over the rainbow, up the rough river, without a paddle, with anger, toward the door. Notice prepositional phrases usually end with a noun or pronoun, which is the object of the preposition, just like I said before. And so we have after the brutal fight, inside your wax-filled ear, outside the blue house, between two girls, beside you, with me. And this becomes very important when you are writing. So a lot of times people will say with you and I, which is actually incorrect. A lot of times when we're saying you and I, you and me, if it comes at the beginning of the sentence, or it's the subject of the sentence, it is you and I because it is a subjective pronoun. However, when you're using a pronoun with a preposition, because it is the object of a preposition, it needs to be in the objective form, which is the form, or which is me. Me is the objective form of I. And I know that that's getting way, way in front of ourselves and probably a little over your head, but that will be important as we go through studying grammar. Now, prepositional phrases can either be adjective phrases or adverb phrases. And a lot of times when you see this adjective phrases, adverb phrases, they're talking about prepositional phrases. They're just leaving prepositional out of that. So an adjective phrase, just like a regular adjective, modify a noun or pronoun and answer the questions: which one, what kind, how many. The man with the beard is my dad. So with the beard is an adjective phrase modifying man. And you can see the pattern again. With is the preposition, the is the beard, or the is the modifier, and beard is the noun. Winds in March often disturb me. So you have again a prepositional phrase that doesn't have any modifiers. In is the preposition, March is the object of the preposition, and in March modifies the noun winds. I bought a chest for tools. For tools is the prepositional phrase. For is the preposition, and tools is the noun, and it's modifying chest. So all of these three modify nouns or pronouns, well, nouns in this case, and notice that when it is an adjective phrase, that the adjective phrase is right next to the noun that it modifies. And that's one way kind of to tell a prepositional phrase that is an adjective. Adverb phrases are a little bit trickier. Adverb phrases, just like regular adverbs, modify verbs, adjectives, or adverbs, and they answer the questions how, when, where, why, or to what extent. And I would say in this situation, it's very important to remember this. So if you don't write anything else down, there's a couple of things I want you to write down, but this is one of the things that I want you to write down. Adverb phrases answer these questions. So let's take a look at some examples. I jumped into the water. Well, into the water is a prepositional phrase. Into is the preposition. The is the modifier, and water is the object of the prepositions, and it answers the question where. For many years I was afraid to talk. For many years, for is a preposition, many is a modifier, and years is a noun, and it answers the question how long or to what extent. And it modifies, I should go back and say, this sentence or this prepositional phrase modifies jumps. This prepositional phrase modifies was afraid. So both verbs, jumped, not jumps. During the summer, the rainfall is heavy. During the summer is the prepositional phrase. During is the preposition. The is the modifier, and summer is the noun. And this modifies the verb is. Now be careful for any misplaced modifiers. Like I said, it's very important to put the modifier as close to the word it's modifying as possible. So if we take a look at this first sentence, throw the cow over the fence some hay, and I couldn't find a picture of somebody actually trying to pick up a cow and throwing it over the fence, but really that's what the sentence is saying. Throw the cow over the fence. Some hay. No. You want to say throw some hay over the fence to the cow. So you want to make sure, because sometimes when you do put in misplaced modifiers, yeah, the sentence gets kind of funny. Now, speaking of positions, there are some position rules, and these are automatics. So a phrase that begins with an introductory phrase is automatically an adverb. So if we go back to our examples here, this sentence has an introductory prepositional phrase, and so does this one. They are both automatically adverbs. A phrase that follows the subject is automatically an adjective, and you can probably say follow a noun in addition to following the subject. So again, when we're looking at adjective phrases, like I said, these phrases come right after the noun so that we know for sure that these are definitely adjective phrases. A phrase that follows the verb is an adjective, or a phrase that follows a verb, adjective, or adverb is automatically an adverb phrase. And then a few more hints. Adverb phrases that modify verbs can be moved to the beginning or the end of the sentence. And I should add, and still makes sense. Adjective phrases can never be moved and still make sense. So if we take a look at these examples, it was saying that introductory phrases can be moved around. For many years I was afraid to talk, or I could say I was afraid to talk for many years. So we know for sure that this particular sentence modifies the verb. During the summer, the rainfall is heavy. The rainfall is heavy during the summer. Makes sense so that we know for sure that during the summer is an adverb phrase modifying the verb. So if we take a look at a couple of examples here, first of all, the pirate map was hidden underneath a big rock. Well, we know that underneath a big rock is the prepositional phrase because we have underneath a preposition, a big, those are both modifiers, and then rock is the noun. But we have to ask ourselves, is it an adjective phrase or is it an adverb phrase? Well, this is where the questions come in handy. We know for sure that it is an adverb phrase because it answers the question where. Everyone in class finished the test at the same time. Well, we know for sure that in the class